Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round number 8 at Tier 5 here in the Moose Racing League. We have ourselves a beautiful day here in the beautiful Star-Spangled States. It is the United States Grand Prix. It is COTA that hosts us here for round number 8. A beautiful track with a whole host of overtaking opportunities. 20 corners, 3.4 miles, 5.5 kilometers if you are so inclined, and a lot of elevation change, most notably into turn number 1. We've seen moves into there before. This was last season in Tier 5. Golden Drift and Jim Just Rage went wheel to wheel throughout 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then down here into turn 12, the other key action zone. We saw this in tier number 2. Sorry, tier number 1 that was, Giants and Arcadia. And then this, the battles going on in Tier 4. Shamrock and Pete battling all the way up straight. Doesn't matter if you're teammates or not, you will still have to fight for your lives around COTA. My name is the Big Mac Dan, and I am back in the booth for today's race. It has been a pleasure to watch the last 2 weeks from home. I was unfortunately unable to attend those 2 weekends, but in my absence it seems things have regulated itself in tier number 5. The chaos seems to have left the room. I've had a look at the standings coming into this weekend for the first time since round number 4. It is in fact our friends over at Ferrari who lead both the constructors and the driver's standings. AngryShadow leads the way as it stands currently. He is sat in the driver's seat, 15 points clear of the next man, the man who'd been leading for quite some time, Villeneuve, who has had a downturn of form, it seems, by his standards in the past few rounds and has fell a considerable ways back now. The only driver even remotely keeping up, though, at the front of the field is the man who sat in third, finally finding his form in the back half of the season, ever since his win in round number 6, I believe. Round number 5, I apologise. Welshie has found form, and he is absolutely flying right now. He is the man to watch, I think, today to see if he can dethrone the AngryShadow dominance. Meanwhile, over in the constructors' standings, because we do have to keep a track of that as well, Ferrari do still lead by 13 points though now, as McLaren have closed the gap. Monster Jammers has not been pulling the same weight that AngryShadow has in the past 2 weekends, as AngryShadow has been the only point scorer for Ferrari in both rounds, Belgium and Portugal. But now, with Welshie closing up and with the McLaren team firmly chasing them down, it feels like only a matter of time before they get caught. Meanwhile, the battle for third also going on. Red Bull and Sauber going head to head. We've got the Sauber team today. We've got some very talented drivers for them. Benzo and Echo One have been quietly consistent mid-table machines, and really, it's going to come down to the wire as to whether or not Red Bull can wrap it up. Villeneuve pulling heavyweight to keep Red Bull at the top. Him being in that title fight is the only reason they're sat in third currently. But enough talking from me. Let's get back to the race. Let's focus on the qualifying, because it is, in fact, qualifying time. And that is right. It is dry for now. Yes, we don't know if there will, in fact, be dry or wet weather here this weekend, but what we can guarantee is a little bit of chaos, because when is there not whenever I'm present? We have a bunch of drivers, all 20 on the grid. Electric Entree and Midnight representing Mercedes this weekend, as well as, I believe, Deathman not representing one of the big teams, but instead moving to Aston Martin for this weekend as a reserve driver. Be interesting to note how well he does from that team and for that team's drive. And speaking of Deathman, he will be our first driver on track. Now, I have been having, I will note, some technical potential difficulties if it's not coming through correctly on stream, as I just realised we have the in-game audio muted. It's still not coming through. Oh, let me fix that. Give me a moment. I wonder if that's fixed it. There we go. Now we've got audio. You guys can hear the main menu now. Good. Right, so you should be able to see the cars. So, obviously, F124 is a bit of a buggy game to begin with. Turns out it's now causing memory leak. So there is a very high chance my game will just crash at some point. So if it does happen and we do lose stream for a second, I do apologise. But we will try and keep the stream going. Of course, we do have the Aston Martin of Deathman going real slow down the straight, doing a couple of wiggles for the camera. He's just trying to show off at this point. We're on board with the TikTok sponsored Aston Martin. If you're wondering where the TikTok sponsorship is, look at the front wheel. Look at the steering wheel of the car. Of course, we also have the Cognizant sponsors on that as well. Deathman's teammate this weekend is Marmo, who has not had the greatest of form this season, but to be fair, it's very hard to be competitive at the front when it is a 3-horse race for that title. But reality will always set in when AngryShadow is on the track. The man, the myth, the dominant legend. He has been untouchable, not just in this tier, but also in the tiers above. That's how good he has been. So the likelihood of him keeping that car at the front of the field by the end of this weekend is very, very high. But of course, chaos will reign at some point, and maybe some chaos will hold out and cause some maybe change-ups in that expectation, as Deathman will set off for the first lap of this weekend. The beautiful S's here at COTA, they are so hard to get right, but when you do, they are oh so perfect. Now wrapping through up the hill towards 6 and 7. Down now towards turn 10. Heavy braking here. You want to get a good exit. Quickly straighten the car up to try and keep going. A little bit of a snap there of oversteer on the exit, but just keeps it under control. Now the run up the hill again, and then back down the hill. The elevation change so hectic here at COTA, as there's been a yellow flag, and that is for a Sauber. Is that Echo 1? It is. Echo 1 has gone off the track. As here come the two Ferraris, and look at him staying completely off the track. He does not want to interfere in the Ferrari tow streams. Let's move on now back to Deathman. 1023 middle sector. As now he wraps around the final few quarters. What can he do? Can he find a way to put a decent banker in? This is one of the top drivers in the season so far. He's been competitive. He's been a probable cause for good points, and a 32.8 is not a bad starting lap. Now the car's behind him. Here comes Welshie. Firstly, it's Mark Mage, 34.5. Welshie only a 33.3, so not a great lap from him. Across the line comes Benzo, 37.9. Mercedes of Entree, 34.7, so that really puts into perspective just how good Deathman's lap was. Jammers only at 35.1, as AngryShadow has backed off his lap to go again due to invalidation. Norbash slots at P2. Across the line comes Bum as well. Bum with a great time. 33.0 puts him currently P2. And the McLarens look a little off the pace this weekend. So I hurriedly try to turn off my Discord notifications. Don't worry guys, that is not yours. Those are mine. I am trying to turn them off as we speak. So you don't need to check your Discord. I will make sure the mine are off for the remainder of the race. And also, make sure to check in on your friends, because that's what my friends are doing on me right now, and I love them to death. By the way, if all of those are worried, don't worry, I will be here for the remainder of the season, so you should not need to worry about me disappearing again. You are stuck with me for the rest of Tier 5, so we will see out this championship battle. On board now with AngryShadow. And look at this teamwork here from him and Monster Jammers. They've timed this to perfection. Jammers on his cooldown lap has pulled over and allowed the tow all the way down the back straight. Pulls out of the way before the braking point, but there is a kick Sauber on the inside here, and he is almost blocking the lap, but I don't think it should have had an effect. Shadow with a bit of a lock-up. Now we're in the car wide through there to get a better line through the apex of the corner. He is very much up on everyone else though, but he is fighting that car for oversteer. Now through the final two corners, where will this put him? Other cars are crossing the line. I think Tolby's up to P5. Here comes a Red Bull across the line. No improvement there, but across the line comes AngryShadow, and it's 1.3 seconds the gap as he goes officially P1. We look elsewhere to see if anyone else is on a lap. There's a couple of cars out on track. Echo 1 not having the greatest of runs through the S's, and I don't think this is going to be a hot lap. The light is on. So that might be his lap over. Villeneuve, though, has been on a lap. Where does this put him? The former championship leader drops to P9. Only that for now. Amamo starting his flying lap. Will look to improve Aston Martin's fortunes this weekend. Of course, Deathman doing his best as well. And of course, there is Great Ace also on a flying lap, but it's not been the most impressive one. So there are yellow flags in Sector 2, and that's for a Red Bull and a Sauber. And it appears that the Sauber's gone into the wall there and has lost their front wing. And I wonder if, unrelated to that, Normbach also went off the track. As meanwhile, more cars come around. Of course, we were told by the race director this week, if you've not seen the Twitter post, there is an inside curb there. Whoa, Entree has completely lost it out of the final corner. That was an improvement there, but he's lost it completely. That will not be anything of an improvement. Great Ace, though, starting a pretty good flying lap. Was up by half a second at the start. Narrowing down the hill. But yes, on the way into the pits, you see the red curbs on the outside of the track. Well, you can't cross them on the outside. Oh, there is a spin. Who was that? Is that Striker? It is. Striker 95 in the Alpine has gone off the track. Yeah, I'll see if I can try and catch a car coming into the pits. It's hard too, because Villeneuve's just already passed it. Who's the closest to the pit lane right now? It doesn't matter. Amamo crossing the line. This is not going to be the best of laps, but it is faster than what Striker and Benzo have put together. Here comes the Mercedes of Midnight. And he's looking for a better performance this weekend to see if he can put his car at the front of the field. Uphill braking, blind turn 1, all the way back down on the run through 2, into 3 now. We'll go on board just to show you the change of direction. The car just wants to slide. The rear just does not want to grip. You have to throw the front in though and pray that the rear follows. Full commitment from Midnight. Now the run down. Braking just after the 100-meter board. Turns in, clips the apex on the inside. We'll turn the hood off so you can watch this one properly. DRS open. You can see he comes across to the middle of the track. We've seen a lot of drivers take different approaches. Some like to hold very tight on that curb on the right, but some don't want to risk it, because if you do go all 4 wheels over the white line, or even just over half the car over the white line, it can cause an invalidation. As Midnight's gone all over the throttle there, sliding the car. And again on the exit, the rear just not gripping. Late apex here, taking the middle of the road. Trying to find the most grip, doesn't want to risk it too inside, catching the curb and bouncing around. Now into the final corner, heavy braking again, but you want to get on the throttle so early here, but you can't let the car spin out. It's an improvement, it's a 12th place time, it's a 13.5. Across the line now comes the Ferrari, that's Monster Jammers, who's beginning his new flying lap. We're seeing great variance in the times here as well, as Great Ace goes and sets a 34.1, a pretty decent lap from him, puts him P10 at the moment. One of the longer laps on the F1 calendar. So across the line comes Mockmage to start his flying lap, but only a 34.5 from him. We know he's got more in the tank. We're seeing, though, just how close it is. From Nathan through to Mockmage, that's 8th to 14th, is less than 0.6 of a second. That's the difference between a fairly decent amount of points and being nowhere near them. And right now, Mockmage is doing a very clean job in that first sector. No invalidation either. Takes a fair bit of curb there through 9 into 10. Don't even think that is turn 10, I'll be honest with you. I've not memorised COTA, I'll be very clear. I have no idea. Meanwhile, across the line come a couple of cars now. Here comes the Aston Martin. Don't think there was an improvement, and one of them boxes as well. Through across the line now comes Midnight. Midnight has yet to improve on his lap, but he looks like he's going for a second run. The yellow flag in Sector 1. 6 minutes to go. Jammers crosses the line. It's an improvement, but it's a 2/10 improvement, which means he doesn't go anywhere. Still P16 for Monster Jammers. Mark Majo up by half a second. If he can hold this together in the final sector, he might be on for something major here. Can he keep it clean? Runs it wide, keeps it relatively clean. It's a P9 lap time. It's a 33.9, and that is as good as he could have got. Meanwhile, Nathan has also improved. That's now a 33.3 to his name. Only 5 thousandths off P6. Only a 100th off of Normbash this time, which is currently good enough for P5. Is now improved to P4. Great lap from him. It's difficult to find time here, but right now Welshie is the one at the top of the scoreboards. 32.7, we did miss that lap time, but it is currently pole. As into the pits comes Nathan. It does appear to be an RB now. That'll be Bum coming into the pits as well. So we won't get to see it, but what we will get to see is, if we flip over to Welshie, so you can see here on the inside of the track there is that red sort of Astro, in a sense, the red tarmac. You can cross that inside part. You cannot cross the outside part, otherwise that is a penalty, but you can afford to go to inside into the pits. That is legal as per our race director this weekend, as into the pits comes pretty much everyone. Here's Normbash. Not improving. Villeneuve still out there in P14. Is he improving? He's up by a second. This is a much better lap from Villeneuve. But how can he hold it together in the final sector? Oh, he's thrown the car through there, but he left a little bit on the table. Now the final corner. Goes in early apex. Gets the car straight. Goes for the line. It's an improvement to P9, but it's only a 6/10 improvement, as behind him, it was that Electric Entree who's improved as well. Normbash crosses the line. He's going for another flying lap. He overfueled the car. He thinks those softs can go forever. 3 minutes 40 on the clock. It's going to be a bit of a risk to get back into the pits and out again. So he's got to get this first sector right and use what's left in those tyres. Oh, look at the commitment through that first sector. Gorgeous as it gets from Normbash. And look at Villeneuve waiting. Red Bull strategy here, potentially. Oh, but he's missed the apex there onto the straight. Villeneuve now backing off. Potentially to give toe to Normbash. You can see him there, slowing on the racing line, then slowly pulling off of it. Maybe not close enough to give really anything, as Welshie has retired in the pit lane. He will not go out again. He says, I've hit my PB. I can't do more than that. What can Normbash do? Last few corners. Middle of the road driving. Gets the car turned in, pushing to the very limits as Normbash. Can he improve though? Can he get up onto the front row of the grid? He can't. It's only P3, but it is a last second improvement for him. A great lap nonetheless. As meanwhile Villeneuve retires as well. He will not be able to set another lap, as AngryShadow has emerged from the pit lane. He will do one more. Across the line come, I believe, the two Alpine boys of Striker and Nate. What sort of pace will they have? The Striker leading out Nate, which means that Nate will be looking to get the toe down the straight. He is the one that they think has the best likelihood of getting their car forward. Issue is, Nate is relatively close to the back of Striker, so he's going to be getting that dirty air through the first sector. That could be affecting his ability, and if Striker makes one mistake, it's both of their heads, not just one, and he can see that now. Striker has had to really get the throttle down coming through that sector because Nate is right behind him. Breaking into the hairpin. Now the run out of it. Burning ERS down the straight. Will Striker pull out of the way? This is the key question. Striker will not. Meaning Nate will only set a lap as fast as Striker will allow. And he's backed off. He needs to go for another. A couple of other guys coming across the line now. That's Echo 1 goes P9. Good lap from him. Across the line comes Monster Jammers. Oh, sorry, no, that was AngryShadow to start his final flying lap. Across the line comes a Red Bull. Is that a Red Bull? No, it's an RB. Boom. P5. Tolby starts his final flying lap. Across the line comes the Aston. It's no improvement for Deathman. As across the line come the two Williams drivers. Benzo. The slowest finisher so far will not be improving. Striker does improve, but I believe the lap was invalid. As Nathan puts it P2. Great lap from him. Deathman though, still going. Bum is invalidated. He will not improve. Tolby, is he improving? I think he is. Normbash only P4. Deathman currently sat P5. Bum will not be able to improve. What about Amamo? 7th. Mockmage 8th. Monster Jammers set a faster lap. He's P11. Midnight Spun. Last driver across the line. Couldn't do it. Great Ace crosses it. P11. Cypher's in. He will not improve. Striker is improving, but has not invalidated yet. What about NATO G? NATO G has invalidated. So who's left at this point to set a lap? It would be Deathman. And Deathman is pushing to the line now. Can Deathman secure a front row for Aston Martin? No, only P4. He couldn't get the job done in the end. Across the line comes the Alpine. Striker remains P18. It is an improvement, but it's not enough. And that is qualifying over. Midnight Spin has ended it officially, as AngryShadow will take pole position by a second over Nathan W's in the Haas, finally showing some form that we know for a fact he has in that car. Welshie 3rd, ahead of Deathman 4th, Norm in 5th. Great qualifying for him. He's done a fantastic job with old soft tyres as well. He's put it P5 ahead of his twin RB in P6 in Bum. Amamo sits 7th ahead of Tolby in 8th. Mockmage and Echo 1 round out your top 10. They're on the 5th row together, as Great Ace and Jammers will start the 6th row of the grid. The music blares rather loudly. Villeneuve will start ahead of Electricon Trey, 13th and 14th. Midnight ahead of Nate OG in 15th. Nate only in 16th. Cypher 17th for Haas. A Striker, the second Alpine, in 18th. Benzo, a poor qualifying from him considering the pace that he's had all season. And in 2 terms, who sits at the back of the field, he will start P20. And that was your qualifying. But now the race truly begins. Who can take the top spot when it matters the most? Who can fight at the front of the field like there is no tomorrow? Whew. Right. Doesn't appear to be rain. Ooh. Nathan single-handedly carrying us is a pretty apt statement, in all honesty. Nathan has scored 35 points this season. I want to point out the Haas have scored 35 points this season. Nathan has done it all. I don't know why it keeps pausing. We'll just sit on the pause menu for a minute. But again, we don't know the strategy for the race. We saw it in Tier 6, but I wasn't watching, so I don't know. The other key thing, of course, we've got to watch the Constructors' battle. Red Bull versus Sauber. Right now, Red Bull have a massive advantage. Villeneuve is in 11th. He is just behind Echo 1. Or Villeneuve, sorry, is either 11th or 13th. We can look. 13th, behind Echo 1, but it is Normbach who is leading the Red Bull charge at the front. Scored 21 points all season. His best performance was last week at Portugal, a P6. Now he qualifies one higher. Can he finish one higher and potentially overtake a bunch of drivers in that top 10? Other drivers that have seemingly not had the form, that would be Chosen Tolby, who in Qatar scored a podium, second place there behind Villeneuve, but now has not scored a point since. We're looking at guys like Two Terms, Jacob, who has had a podium this season at Austria, but now starts from the back of the grid. 5 red lights, medium runners across the board, and it's lights out, and away we go. And has Nathan got the launch off the line? Heading up to turn 1, no he hasn't. AngryShadow pulls ahead into turn 1, and Welshie will follow suit on the hard tyre. As meanwhile moves all the way down the field. Nathan drops down a 5th already, as there's been a yellow flag, and that's for Monster Jammers, who's lost a part of his front wing. Meanwhile at the front, the gap already over a second, but Welshie on those hard tyres will go a long way. Normbach is chasing him down. P3, great start from him. Deathman P4 ahead of Nathan P5. Bomb now defending almost looked for an attack there on Nathan, who's just seemingly not got away off the line at all and is now under a massive amount of pressure. Behind him, Mockmage chasing down. He's got a Marmo and both Williamses behind as well. Behind them is Midnight. Villeneuve up 1. Echo 1's dropped 3. So a poor start for both kick drivers as Benzo is down in last and has had a spin at the hairpin as there's a couple of lockups there. Who was that for? Oh, was a Mercedes going deep? That would be Entree. Entree under pressure. Speaking of under pressure though, Deathman has it all to do here as he tries to go around the outside, and he's going to go around the outside. What a move around the outside of Normbach there. What a move. Oh, but this contact, Normbach gave him nothing on the inside there. Oh no. And Mockmage is out. And that was contact caused by Deathman. And it's a safety car. Oh, and that will have to be looked at by the stewards. There was a dangerous move across the track there, and you have to believe that that was not intentional, but it very much looked very dangerous. It's a completely dry race. Will be mediums to hards or hards to mediums, and at this point, really, if you're on the medium tyre, pitting to hards is not a bad idea. But still, not the way we wanted the race to go for the McLaren boys. Another DNF, and why am I always present for the McLaren DNFs? I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be a pen for that. I wonder, though, how much of that was just frustration from Deathman due to the move from Normbach. Normbach did seem to cut through him, as meanwhile Nato G has received a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. He, by the way, has only just caught up to... He's not even caught up to the safety car yet. As Monster Jam is also boxing. Gets that front wing replaced, and this has not been a good start for either Alpine or the Ferrari driver. Okay, Sizzle. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, it's a reckless move there, but it's one that does happen, unfortunately. People don't have the spatial awareness sometimes in these sorts of races, especially at the start of the race. It's lap 1, chaos does occur. Either way, what we can do is look at the position change, and it's been a poor start for Nathan W's. Falls down to P4 from P2. Looked like he got a good launch off the line as well. That's the bit that really confuses me. He looked like he'd got the jump on AngryShadow, but seemed to bog down further into the start. Got swarmed around the outside by Welshie, who was very opportunistic into turn 1, and Normbash followed suit shortly after. Great job from Normbash, by the way, to hang on to P3 there, having to defend around the outside from Deathman, who, by the way, has dropped 2 himself. Amamo, meanwhile, this is maybe my unsung hero of this race so far, is the only driver outside of Benzo to have not moved. Oh, and Angry, obviously. But P7, this is not a driver who has been at the front of the field all season long. This is a driver who has very much struggled with pace. As NATO G retires in the pit lane from his drive-through penalty, and I wonder if he's caused another incident potentially. Benzo is driving around with half a front wing still. Oh, sorry, that's less than half a front wing. That's like a quarter front wing. Is he going to box? This time he boxes. Oh, well. Yeah, you need to slow down more for the pit stop. There we go. He found his way in. Well, he left the rest of the front wing on the corner. So at least the marshals have a little bit of a souvenir for their kids. That's nice of him. It's nice of him to do that. Either way, let's focus at the front of the field. AngryShadow leads us away once again from the safety car restart when it does eventually happen. We are on lap 3 of 28. About a minute 35, 36 lap times here. Maybe a bit slower in the race, 37, 38. Guys, you're all asking what's going on, what's happening, why is this happening? You fail to understand the key part of this, in that this is tier 5. This is what always happens in tier 5. I don't know what sort of viewing you've been having the past few weeks, what sort of situation is. Okay, I need to check this. Is Cameron's intentionally going slowly here? No, he's not. Okay. I was worried he was going intentionally slow because he's still not caught the back of the pack. But yeah, tier 5 is the home of chaos. It's where chaos is born. This is what it does. It generates these situations where chaos always happens. Don't be alarmed. Just accept it. Enjoy it. If you've got a favourite, pray it doesn't happen to them. Right now, the battle at the front, as if it could be any different. The two drivers who have finished 1-2 the last 2 rounds. It's AngryShadow ahead of Welshie. Normbash is in P3, as we've had 3 retirements in the first 3 laps of the race, as somehow Cameras immediately overtook Cypher. How he's done that. Normbash in 3rd, ahead of Nathan, then Bomb, then Deathman, who will be receiving a time penalty for the murder of Muck Mage on lap number 1. But we'll see what that time penalty and the penalty points look like for him. This is a man who is sat in P4, I believe, in the driver's standings as a reserve. He has yet to find a full-time seat, despite having reserved, I think, pretty much every single race this season. Relatively solid drives from him. Meanwhile, elsewhere down the order, both Williams still in the points. Great Ace ahead of Tolby. And Midnight rounding it out in 10th place. Deathman is next to Amamo. Yes, the 2 teammates this weekend. Is there history here that we don't know about between these 2? Is there history between Amamo and Deathman that we will need to keep an eye out for? Because we know that this field is filled with history. Historical battles throughout the season. Of course, who could forget the infamous Qatar battle between AngryShadow and Welshie that took both of them out of very strong points paying positions. I think there was a battle for P2, I think it was, or potentially even P1. These 2 drivers do not give a quarter with each other, but that's part of the fun of it. That's where that competitive edge. It is a true old school battle. McLaren, Ferrari. Hi, Mark. Mark, mind the profanity filter. It will strike you down very quickly, as we are going again, live already. And AngryShadow has bolted early, but what it's done is it's inadvertently allowed Welshie to absolutely fly away from the front of the field as well. Both drivers pulled a second to the cars behind. Normbash has been caught lacking. Here comes Nathan. Here comes Bomb. Bum to the inside, turn 1, can't find it, locks up a little bit. Oh, but Nathan almost drives into the back of him. Now Bum's got the slight look up the inside in a 2, can't do it. Behind them, Deathman still leads Amamo. Great Ace and Tolby, Midnight still sat P10 as we go on board the helicopter. Beautiful eyes down view of the track here. This is COTA from above, and it's a great opportunity. We go on board with the Mercedes. Will Midnight go for it? No, fakes it out. Tolby does not even bite. But Midnight seems to have the pace. Oh, was a safety car? Nope, that's just the bug. I don't even know how that's happened. That is a beautiful shot, I'll be honest with you. Anyway, here comes Midnight. Tolby this time goes defensive. Sees Midnight's not along. Doesn't give him a car's width. Not entitled to it because he is still behind. Midnight looking for the switchback. Can't find it. Forces Tolby defensive. And again, switches back. Oh, almost lost the rear. Now one more time. Goes deep. Looks for the switchback, but Tolby's got a great line on the apex to hold position. Great defensive driving from Chosen Tolby. Every corner for the past few has been under pressure, and he has held his nerve in that Williams. AngryShadow still leads us away as Deathman now has a penalty for 3 seconds, and he's fighting wheel to wheel with Bum. Let's go on board with Bum, who's technically behind. Bum pulls back ahead on the top of the straight. Deathman cuts across. There's contact. Oh, and Bum's round. Wheel-to-wheel contact between the two. And the Visa Cash App RB has to wait for the entire field to pass them before they can get back on the track. Meanwhile, at the front, Normbash still sits ahead of Nathan. That looked like a corner cut to me, but we'll see. Nathan, over 8/10 back. DRS is now enabled. The gap at the front, by the way, 4.5 seconds after a lap. We're just going to ignore that. Yeah, yeah. Guys, stop arguing in chat. Just enjoy the race. This is not F1 Twitter. This is MRL. Everyone's just having a go at Deathman or defending him at this point. I love it. He is the true kryptonite. I want to point out, Amamo has in fact got back past him. So Amamo now leads Deathman. If that's a problem, I'm scared. Meanwhile, behind them, Great Ace now, sat in P7. Yeah, the RBs are struggling for pace. Meanwhile, speaking of struggling, there's Striker. Under pressure from Cypher. Cypher's got past him. Both drivers up a fair few. Two Terms also up a few. This is Jacob. Starts from the back of the field today. He's looking to try and get through the field as fast as possible. As meanwhile, Normbash is under pressure. This is what it looks like from the front of Nathan W's car. Can he find a way through into turn 1? He's later on the brakes. Because doesn't seem to be any extra effort to go through as Great Ace and Tolby have swapped positions. Ah, I see why. Here's Midnight. Look at this pack. 3 cars, nose to tail, through the S section. As they go so close to each other. Cypher receives a 3-second time penalty through the S section himself. As now, you can see Villeneuve also looking to get back involved. Started P13. He's got a championship fight. Oh, there's contact. And that's a broken front wing for someone. But for who? That looked like Villeneuve. It isn't, in fact, Villeneuve. No, that's a broken front wing for the Mercedes? Midnight's got a broken front wing. What? How does that work? I don't know, Chris. I don't know. Has there? Has there been a broken front wing? Are they both fine? Apparently they are. Fair play. Alright, moving on. Back to the front of the field. Nathan is as close as he was last time. What just happened there? Alright, Nathan, much closer. ERS on, DRS on, all the way to the inside. Clean ahead before the braking point. As smooth as butter from the Haas driver. But he's gone a little bit bumpy over turn 1. And what that has done is that's brought Amamo back into this. And Amamo has gapped Deathman. As meanwhile, Deathman now under pressure as my monitor has turned off. Chaos! Why is my monitor turned off? Right, I'm watching the stream now through my own stream of it. Alright, boys. There's been a yellow flag. Striker is out of the race. I don't know what's going on anymore. Is there a safety car? There is a safety car. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We're back in the race. I do apologise, chat. I can no longer see you. But I also can't see the bloody race. Oh, technology. No one likes it. Will you bloody work? Don't put this into a highlight, Kayla. I swear to God. So, does anyone know what happened? Echo 1 is at the back of the field. I don't think it has anything to do with him, but it might do. You never know. Meanwhile, the front of the field has stayed the same. Will AngryShadow box here on the mediums? He will. He will box on the mediums. Now I wonder if anyone else will follow on the medium tyre. Okay, my monitor is making electrical noises. Well, she stays out. Nathan goes in. In comes Norm back. Okay, wait, who's on? Hold up. Who's actually on mediums? Oh, it's the entire field that's boxing. Okay, well, that's... Apart from Grade Ace. Grade Ace stays out. Oh, and Villeneuve. Villeneuve stays out too. There's AngryShadow. He comes out in P5 after all of that. 4 cars yet to pit. 2 of them on hards, 2 of them on mediums in Grade Ace and Villeneuve. Chat, I am fighting a monitor right now. It's telling me it's turning on and then it stops. There's something eaten my wire. That's not an innuendo. Meanwhile, everyone go look at the race leader. Whilst we wait. Everyone go look at... This is what the back of the safety car looks like. Entertain yourselves. Oh my god. It's on. I got it working. I fixed it. Hi, chat. Right, we're back. Right, does anyone know what happened? It appears that Striker has DNF'd to make it 2 Alpine DNFs in this race in the span of 7 laps. You can also see the bum, who was at one point sporting a top 5 position, has felt. Should it, Cobb? All right, I don't need you to call me out for my Dr. Pepper addiction. All right, I give you commentary. You don't judge me for my bad habits. Okay, that's the agreement we have. Okay. Thank you. Everyone defending Dr. Pepper now. This is good. It's the nectar of the gods. We'll not hear a word against it. By the way, it is boiling in the UK today. What Americans would consider nice summer weather is in the UK murder. Right now, I am boiling alive, but it can't be any cooler. It can't be any hotter than what is out on track right now. Beautiful Texas heat raining down. There's been an overtake, but for who? As Nathan accidentally overtaken by Monster Jammers. Jammers yet to box as well. It's currently splitting. Him and Jacob have split the pack. Of course, Jammers did box on lap 1 under the first safety car. No one else did. All the other people that did... Oh, for God's sake, I've turned it off again. It's back on again. 35 degrees Celsius, yeah. See, 25 with no AC feels like 45 with AC. I need wind. I need a fan or like something. If I got any fans in chat, I need a fan. I need a fan right here to blow air on my face and keep me functional. And if I can't, I will continue to drink Dr. Pepper unhealthily throughout the rest of this race. I need the drink, as Kimi Räikkönen famously said. Right, looking at the tyres though. Majority of drivers still on the hard tyre now. It is the preferred race tyre, can go all the way to the end. It will be Welshie who will kick us off with a restart this time around. Meanwhile, AngryShadow seems to be trying to let Jacob through here. And AngryShadow has got a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. And I wonder what's happened there. Either way, AngryShadow, who apparently got an illegal overtake on 2 turns, even though 2 turns was always behind him, now has a 10-second. If that is served, I don't think that can get taken off. Either way, we are going to get going racing again. It will be Welshie to lead us away, and he is taking a lot longer than AngryShadow. We are going all the way to the final corner, and look at the chaos it's causing in the back. Everyone's stacking up. We know we're going. Welshie sends it out of the final corner, but he's all squirrely. Those hards are not up to temp. Deathman is still with him. As meanwhile, AngryShadow already applying pressure to Villeneuve behind. Villeneuve and Grade Ace both on those 10-lap hold medium tyres, but they have to manage them. Welshie pulling the gap on Deathman. But Deathman is just about keeping it there. Deathman's missing part of front wing. That's where the front wing went. We finally found the culprit. And that explains... Oh, Grade Ace! Grade Ace has spun! On the exit of the S section. He avoids contact with everyone. Echo 1 taking avoiding action, ran off the track, may get that penalty removed. Meanwhile, it is Villeneuve under pressure from AngryShadow. We go on board to watch the Ferrari flat behind him. Who's being ever so patient is AngryShadow. Having to be. Cannot find a way through yet. Tries to go for the switchback here. He's got a better exit. We saw before, it's not easy to overtake in that final sector. There's the Ferrari. Ever so much quicker than the Red Bull right now. Under-braking into the final corner. Almost just sniffing the gearbox. Oh, but he's had a moment. He's had a big moment there. And that's lost him a fair amount of time. And it might have just temporarily saved Villeneuve. But now the run to turn 1. Shadow will just find simply more grip on those hard tyres and pull back in front. He is up to P3. Meanwhile behind, there's Jacob, yet to box. Nathan has just overtaken Monster Jammers into the S section. Gorgeous move from Nathan W's. And he needs to be making them. As there's been a spin, and it's Villeneuve. And those medium tyres have gone off a cliff. And we saw Grade A struggle before, a last lap as well. He had the moment in the exact same spot. Now Villeneuve is under massive pressure, this electric entree behind, on fresh hards. Meanwhile, AngryShadow has now got past Deathman. As Nathan! Ooh. Potential contact there between him and Jacob. Jacob swings to the inside. Defending strong. We're on board with the Marmo to try and get the best view of this action. As they come now into the final sector. Two turns, of course, on the older hard tyre compared to Nathan. He's dropped a full 3 seconds to death, man, in the defence against the Haas driver. Meanwhile, Welshie now, I don't think can defend. Has to try against the Ferrari. We're going to need to see one of the most clinical defensive displays from Welshie to keep the Ferrari behind him. And so far, he's keeping the car very well planted. But it can only be a matter of time before the Ferrari finds its way through. Those old hards can't go forever. But Welshie is fighting that car. He's doing everything in his power. Into the braking point now. Better exit for the Ferrari. There's that extra grip. There's the ERS being burnt by Welshie. Holds to the left. I don't think there's much he can do though. As he slowly starts coming across the track. Oh! Whoa! And what was that? As he gives up the position, through goes Deathman as well. That was chicken. That was Verstappen and Hamilton chicken at Saudi. That's exactly what that was. A brake check on the straight. AngryShadow does not have damage. But what that has kind of done is give Deathman a bit of a lifeline. He's within the 10. There's always chaos in Tier 5 when you least expect it. Even when it seems so simple, it never is. Marmo overtakes 2 turns. There's an argument he pushed him off the track, but that move looked fair and square to me. Midnight ahead of Normbach as well. Tolby's in the fight. Villeneuve's back in the points. He's got a header monster jammers. Mockmate screaming at his teammate. Really? Under pressure now is Welshie from Nathan. We know for a fact the hard runners are going to need to box. In fact, anyone who did not box has to box still. That's Welshie. That's 2 turns. That's Villeneuve. That's Jammers. And that's Great Ace. All of them still need to pit. Down the straight again. Nathan this time pulls to the inside. Notice the lack of defense from Welshie this time around. I say that, he's absolutely sent it deep. Oh, but he's lost the rear. Just about keeps the car on track. And Nathan will keep the position. Oh, but Welshie just seized an open door and is straight back through. What an overtake there from Welshie to get back through. Saw an opportunity, sent it up the inside. Mockmage is losing his mind. Officially. Bomb receives a 3 second. He's in P13 at the moment. Not great look for him. As now Welshie, oh, shaky final corner. That's going to be it, I think, for that battle for 3rd. He will try to defend. I assume he will break late. I don't think it matters. Marmo's gone for it from a mile back. As Jammers has lagged out of the session, someone will need to re-invite him if anyone is still left in here from earlier. Look at Marmo though, all over the back of the McLaren now. This is 8 lap different tyres between these two. And you can see it in every corner, every turn in. And look at that, the run. Oh, look at the run there from Marmo. Oh, but is he playing DRS chicken now? Who got DRS there? I think it's still Marmo. It is, but Welshie now tucks in behind. Doesn't matter, gap's too big already. Meanwhile, Midnight's overtaken 2 turns. That's him up to P6, as Welshie's championship dreams seem to fall further and further by the wayside the longer this race goes on. Meanwhile, Deathman, who is sat on 14 lap old hard tyres in P2, is being caught, not just by Nathan, but by his teammate, who is currently on for a net podium as it stands at the moment. Amamo is having the race of his life around COTA. This has been tremendous driving from him today. Now he's got Nathan in his sights. As in comes Welshie from P5. He will fall to second to last. He'll fall to P15. The only car even close behind him is Electric Entree, who had to box for a new front wing. Great Ace receives a 10-second for speeding into the box. He also pits off the medium tyre. Means Welshie will inherit P14 instead. Meanwhile, this is the battle for second. Nathan W's catching Deathman. This is what it looks like from behind. Deathman is going to be seeing a lot of that Haas car very, very soon. And that's not the best of exits either. Burns the ERS early. Nathan has more in the tank. And here he comes now towards the braking point. Can Nathan get the job done? No, plays it safe. Amamo, who we know is a master on the late brakes, doesn't go for it this time. Normbash, meanwhile, battling two turns, battling Midnight. Oh, look at this pack! I didn't realise there were that many cars there. Cypher and Villeneuve battling, as is Bum. So both RBs involved in this scrap here. Two Terms has kept the position. Midnight's got back ahead of Normbash. No, there's a spin for Tolby. Unaffiliated to any of the other chaos that's happening. Cypher sat in behind as well. That's promoted Villeneuve back into the points. Tolby's binned it a second time. This time across to the other side of the track. And so the Williams has just had a very poor weekend. As meanwhile, Nathan this time has got the job done up the inside. And look at Deathman giving the position temporarily to Amamo. Oh, but there's no love lost there. He almost went wheel to wheel with him. But look what has happened now. Amamo versus Nathan. Both drivers without penalty as it stands at the moment. Both battling for P2. Oh, Nathan! Nathan's lost it! Nathan's lost it slightly. Coming out of the S section. Through goes Amamo. And he's got the second to Deathman. Very key move there in the long-term battle. The mistake. The tyres are just not gripping. For anyone. Doesn't matter how old they are. Nathan, looking to try and get back past Deathman. Can't do it. Bum, meanwhile, is now up to P5 again. After the contact earlier with Deathman that spun him. I'm not saying who's to blame for that, but it was contact with Deathman that did spin him round. That is just a factual information. Please don't call me out for being rude. Normbash has fell down to 7th, but is still hanging on in there. He's not out of the DRS yet of Midnight. As meanwhile, behind him, his teammate Villeneuve, forced off the track, it seems, there by Cypher, who's just fought hard for that position. Villeneuve will need to box, and he will choose now. Uses that inside. As into the pits as well comes Deathman from P3 with the 1 second gap between Nathan and Amamo established. And a new front wing as well, because Deathman still had one. Yeah, we're ignoring fastest laps at this point. We're just going to ignore them. Meanwhile, Welshie, by the way, is back up into the points after all of that. Is now going wheel to wheel with Echo 1. There is no hesitation in the mind of the McLaren driver. He needs to find ways through early. Echo 1 is under all sorts of pressure. The Sauber defending like their life depends on it, because in reality, if they didn't, Welshie would swallow them whole. Now the run down to the DRS zone. The detection is the white line that they cross now. That is the detection point, so Welshie will have the DRS. Goes for the better exit. Gets it immediately. Look at the lack of grip, comparatively, that Echo 1 has had. And through goes Welshie. Echo 1 has a missing part of a front wing as well. That's probably going to cause some of the issues. As through he goes. Meanwhile, back at the front, the gap 15 seconds between Amamo and AngryShadow, who by the way, that's how far ahead he is. He's just started lap 19. These guys are still very firmly on 18. Now we're going to have a look and see at the penalties, because everyone does seem to have a couple. Welshie has 3, Echo 1 has 3, Cypher has 6, Normash is clean, but Bum is not. And Bum is looking to get the move done on Midnight, because if he can get away from Midnight, he might be able to gap them. Over a second now ahead of Normash. Oh, but he's had a moment of the RB. And that's dropped about half a second very easily, as Great Ace receives his first 3-second time penalty of the day, bringing him up to a total of 13-second time penalties. As 2 Terms gets the move done on Monster Jammers. Jammers, who is, I believe, still yet to pit. Oh! Whoa! What was that? That was wheel banging. And it looked like Chambers was turning into him there. I'm very fortunate that there was no further damage to either car. That could have gone very poorly. Meanwhile, Bum still within the DRS, just outside of it now of Midnight, but sneaks back in through the corners. Bum doing better on the exit of corners than on the entry, it seems. As meanwhile, here's a battle for P9. Deathman 2 Terms. Deathman gets through. Those fresh mediums are really working for him. Villeneuve has passed Monster Jammers. That's up to P12 now. Jammers is just trying to nurse that car back to the pits. I think he's got front wing damage, you know. Because he's just struggling so much. Either those tyres are about to pop, or he's got front wing damage. And it is front wing damage. It's a missing left end plate. And I wonder if he's got further damage as well, as he stays out. And it's not been a good run for the Ferrari today. Meanwhile, the 2 Williams battle for what is in reality a nothing position in P14. We are looking to see if there will be a new safety car. The only battle that could theoretically bring one out is this battle for 10th position. Jacob versus Deathman. And Deathman got Jacob down the back straight last time, rather comfortably. This time, I don't think it'll be that easy. As meanwhile, Welshie has got past Cypher onto the back straight, but after the DRS detection point, as meanwhile, Bum and Midnight go wheel to wheel. Midnight sweeps around the outside, but has gone a little deep. Cypher gets a 10-second for corner cutting. Cypher gets a 10-second for corner cutting. What did he do? Alright. Interesting. I have to investigate that one after the race. That's a little bit bogus. But chat, if you're still with me, we've got 8 laps to go in the American Grand Prix. The battle at the front, quite stagnant outside of the battle for P4. But there is a fast-charging McLaren. The question is, just how fast can he charge at this point? Jacob, meanwhile, back in front of Deathman. And both of them are kind of hampering each other's efforts here to get up the field into further points. This is the battle for P10. They do have Echo 1 in front with that broken front wing going slowly. And right now, they are closing rapidly. And I wonder if there may be a move before the end of the straight here, because 2 Terms is right there. Normash battling Bum. Has got the move done. Bum now falls down to P6. That's the Red Bull up to P5. Great job from Normash. And as it stands right now, Red Bull will take P3 in a little bit more of a comfortable step. Oh, as they go wheel to wheel. Two turns, so Bum launched it back up the inside, got the move done. Wheel to wheel now through the fast section. Normash just can't keep it there. And that's a great opportunistic move from Bum. Meanwhile, if you're wondering, the next race begins in another 12 minutes time. 12 minutes for the next race as AngryShadow receives his first 3-second time penalty of the day in P1, but he does lead by over 20 seconds at the moment in time. Meanwhile, Bum has closed back up to midnight and inadvertently has pulled the second on Normbash that he was looking for. He can now just use the DRS, not get caught up in too big of a battle. He might be able to secure P5 at the very least. But Welshie is still approaching. A lap ago, the gap was 5.5. This lap, it's 2. That is the pace difference right now. And Bum's had a great exit out of the final corner here, but look at Midnight. He'd burned the ERS early, just to get back up to top speed early. Now Bum will have to go late on the brakes. He'll go deep into the corner, arguably a bit too deep. As there's been a yellow. Who is it for? Oh, it's for Great Ace. Great Ace. Who rejoins the track. Through goes the Mercedes. He did so safely. As meanwhile now, two battles have emerged. Whilst Midnight battles Bum, it is Normash who will be very soon defending from a very angry Welshie. As meanwhile, Bum here. Oh, there's been a mistake for Midnight. Into the final corner. And through goes Bum. Clean as you like. I don't know how many more of these jokes I need to make before people start catching on to them. Into P4 as a safety car has been deployed. Oh, there's a spanner in the works. Now what that will do is that will force AngryShadow to serve his 10-second time penalty. However, the gaps are so big that I don't think it will matter. I don't think it is horrible for him. He's got such a lead. He will serve the 10-second of the safety car. The only penalty you can't serve under a safety car is a drive-through penalty, if I remember correctly. You can serve 5 seconds, you can serve 10 seconds. And so in his case, you box for softs and you send it off the restart. Because there is no way in hell you're coming out behind someone. Yeah, he's already got the gap. He's absolutely fine. We can watch on board. This is the situation for AngryShadow. Into the pits he will come. His team are there. Fresh, soft tyres for the Ferrari team. You can watch the pit stop. They hold for the 10. If any mechanic touches the car before the 10, it's the heat, Mark. It's the heat. There's the 10 seconds up. Puts the soft tyres on. And just now, Marmo turned into the pit lane. Oh, Nathan was late into the turn-in. Is anyone going to stay out? Anyone risking it? Oh, Welshie. Welshie says, well, if I'm going to get one more shot at it, I might as well go all out. He stays out. And he will go into P2. And look who that puts him behind. Right. Everyone strap in. There's going to be chaos. Yep. It's Hamilton Verstappen drama. Yep. All right. Everyone, get your popcorn. Get your clip buttons ready. Caleb, are you ready? We're going on board. I'm just going to show you the onboard. Because we know something's going to happen. Turn 1 dive bomb. Kayla, you're going to need to clip it. I'm so sorry. You can wait. It's only quali in your race. You're fine as long as you're in the lobby. Mark, just start talking to him. If you're not in a chat with him, sort that out. Meanwhile, a couple of other drivers stayed out. Two Terms stays out. What the hell is Monster Jammers doing on the same set of hearts? B11. Yeah, speaking of everyone else, let's just look at the rest of the grid. Amamo is currently on what will be, I assume, a net P2. Nathan in P3 on the same set of tyres, though. Jacob will be net P4. However, Bum, his teammate, is on a fresh set of softs. I wonder if there'll be team orders off the restart. Meanwhile, behind them is Midnight, Normbash, and Villeneuve. The next Red Bull way down the road. Deathman will lead Monster Jammers and Echo 1. Yeah, Mark, don't break something, please. Please do not break something. It would be very bad for you. It would be very bad for us. Be very bad for the community. Let's not break anything. Let's just enjoy chaos. The heat will pass. The drama will pass. Life will... No, don't. Titan. No. No. Do not encourage that behaviour. Think of the children. No. Alright, I'm going to take a drink. The fact that we've had an uptick in viewers, by the way. Hello, all the new viewers that have just tuned in. Yeah, welcome to hell. We're about to see chaos off the restart. It will be 3-lap dash to the line. Oh. Oh boy. They better make a name for themselves. Whew. Right. Let's look at the logistics here, because there's enough... Yeah, the incident reports for this race are going to be an absolute war zone. So, obviously, as expected, about to go 3 for 3. Honestly, it's been race 1 to race 8. It's every single race I've seen them in. There's been contact, there's been chaos, there's been collisions and battles, they've been wheel to wheel, they've fought for the win, they've cost each other the win. Every single race, it has always been you two. Hamilton and Verstappen. Or if we want to be pedantic, I guess in this case it would be like, I don't know, Schumacher and Hakkinen, maybe. But if we wanna go old school with it, McLaren v Ferrari, safety car in this lap, and this is where the fun begins. How does AngryShadow keep Welshie behind? What does he do to keep Welshie behind? Because he knows Welshie is gonna gun for him. He will follow his every move for the restart. Behind them, Omamo will look to seize on the opportunity. If he's smart, he'll keep his nose clean and potentially survive for a potential win if any drama does in fact happen. We await the restart. There it is. He's gone early. Oh, and he's already got the gap. AngryShadow with a second gap already. I don't think there's going to be a chance of death. There's no clouds in the sky. No chance of death today. Welshie is too far back. AngryShadow has nailed the restart. As Amamo. Oh, Amamo collides with Welshie. Oh, that was almost hail. Oh, right back at them. 2 Terms is out of the race. Tripping over his own wheel. What's happened? Welshie now under pressure. Death has happened. But for who? It's not for who you'd expect. Jammers falls down to last. He's lost part of his front wing. Meanwhile, Welshie has got a train of cars. Can he defend to the line from a bunch of soft runners? I say no. There are 5 cars lining up behind him. This is truly train-esque. Here comes Amamo. On board with him now. Welshie goes defensive. Amamo sweeps to the racing line. The soft runners follow him. Welshie will have to break late, but fair. And does so. But Amamo gets back up to P2. He secures the position now. Deathman's back into the points, up to P10 ahead of Tolby. He's missing part of his front wing. Meanwhile, the two Red Bulls are going wheel to wheel. This is the other battle. Midnight Bomb battling for P5. Right now, though, they've got a focus ahead of them. Deathman's got no wing. Yep, saw that. Oh, Welshie! We went to go on board with Welshie, and he almost spun it. And now goes wide at the final corner. But what that's done is it's backed everyone up. Here comes Nathan. To the inside. Welshie will squeeze him across the track. But it will be the soft runner who gets in front. Blocks the outside. Contact between him and the RB. That was Bum who made contact. Through goes Midnight. Up to P4. Andre up to P13. Welshie, with his 3 seconds, will be behind all of these drivers. He will be down to P10, potentially, at the end of this race. If any of them are able to get past Deathman, who's currently holding up a pack of cars. There's a yellow flag. Oh, that's for Echo 1. Echo 1 has spun. The Mercedes has gone off. Tolby's collided with him. DRS enabled. Look at the train. Can we get a camera at the end of the straight, please? Yes, we can. Oh, look at this chaos. Bum, on the brakes, on his point, goes to the inside. There's no room there. But through goes Midnight, into a podium. Midnight is through to a genuine podium to his name. But now it's on Nathan. Now it's on Bum. Can they find their way past? AngryShadow starts the final lap of the race. Well, she is still defending. Those mediums have not fell off as much as we thought they would, as he's all over the road, weaving there back and forth. Bum is desperate to get past him. But Welshie, late move to the inside. Can't find it. Bum has to turn out of turn 1. But they're alongside each other. Wheel to wheel now. Bum's got the run. Has he got ahead? He has! Bum gets ahead for P4. Beautiful job from him to get that job, to get that move done, to get ahead at the last moment. Nathan now sat behind. Well, she is all over the road on those medium tyres. As Tolby retires in the box on the final lap. Now the run to the line. Bum is going to go for the move on Midnight. It won't matter none. Because in reality, he's got the 3 seconds. Oh, they go close. Almost contact. Well, she defends. Well, she needs this position as well. Nathan is now under pressure from Normbash and Villeneuve. Normbash to the inside. Move done. Welshie still battling Bum. He won't get the job done, but it will be a Ferrari who wins the Grand Prix. It is a win for AngryShadow. It is going to be an official P2 finish for Aston Martin as a Marmo secures it, and Midnight will finish just about in P3. Bum will finish 4th ahead of Normbash, but what that will eventually lead to is Villeneuve 4th, Nathan 5th, Bum will fall just outside of 6th, ahead of Normbash, 7th for Welshie, 8th will go, 8th to Welshie, sorry, 9th to Echo 1, and Great Ace will round out our points finishing positions. Ooh. What a race. What an absolute race. Villeneuve driver of the day started P13, somehow ended up in 4th. Everyone take a breath. Everyone take a minute. Compose yourselves. If you are new here, if you have driven, if you are wanting to watch more action live, right now, Tier 4 has begun their stream. We actually do see the podium for once. Thank you, F1, for fixing it. Go check it out. Tier 4 is live. Qualifying has just started. Go check it out. Go be a part of their stream. Go say hello to them. What we will be doing now is we will be interviewing the top 3 from the race and try to figure out how on earth any of them ended up in the positions that they did. AngryShadow makes it 4 wins in the season, extends his lead at the top to a considerable margin, and the champagne will fly for Ferrari once again. P2 goes to Amamo in the end. Midnight P3 ahead of Villeneuve P4. Nathan 5th. The 5 top drivers without any penalties to their name. Nathan secures a top 5 in the end, but the move from Villeneuve at the line is what has cost him. Oh. And Jammers will finish a full lap down in P14. What a race. What a performance from all of those wonderful drivers. Let's get back to my face, because I love my face. I think my face is very pretty. What a performance. An absolutely tremendous race from all involved. We now look to see who we get in the interview booth, whoever is available. And I think we start with the man, the myth, the legend, the man who finished in P2. He did an amazing job in the race, as that was a tremendous drive. It is Aston Martin with their first podium of the season. It is Omamo in the interview booth. Omamo, it is a pleasure to have you here, mate. Congratulations on your P2.
Thank you, man. It's my second P2 of the season.
Oh, second? Am I blind? I'm blind.
Yeah,
Turns out I'm blind. Well, congratulations, by the way. A tremendous drive for you, bringing Aston Martin a whole host of points. It has been a very long time since I had the pleasure of speaking to you. How does it feel?
Feels good, man. It's been too long. Yeah, I feel like some of these wet races in the past have been getting me, but yeah, no, Texas was a good race.
Yeah, decent qualifying as well from you and from Deathman. I was told that there was a little bit of something with you two being next to each other on track. I may have missed that if that's happened. Has there been an incident between you and your your temp teammate today in the past?
In the past?
I think so.
Probably at some point.
Fair enough.
You know, guys. I have to look back in my clips and messages, but yeah.
So with that,
maybe kept it clean.
With that, only your 4th points finish in 8 races this season, but that does bring you up to 50 points in total in the championship. I believe takes you ahead, potentially all the way up to P7 in the standings now. Looking forward, your Aston Martin team have struggled for points this season, and with the way it's shaping up, you are very much a mid-table battling side. Do you think you have the ability to bridge the gap and jump any further forward as a constructor, or do you think that you're kind of settling now to where you should be?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my teammate had some like connection issues half the season, so we've only really had one driver most of the races. So, you know, not having the team definitely hurts. But if we have 2 drivers for the rest of the season, I think we definitely can get some more points.
It does seem there are an abundance of reserves available in Tier 5, but I thank you for turning up, and I hope we get to see you again next weekend. I try to remember where we are next weekend, but I assume you already know it.
Yeah, I think it's Singapore, yeah.
It is Singapore. Street Circuit. Do you think you've got a good chance of making it work there, or do you think there is a rain?
As long as I keep it out the wall.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a given, as I've accidentally clicked off your face cam, so it was no longer showing on stream, and instead we're showing DMs. That's problematic. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to have you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, man. You too. Take care.
You too. What a performance from him, but another driver worthy of talking to is in fact our 3rd podium sitter. It is the man who finished in P3, Mercedes born and Mercedes raised. It is Midnight on the podium for the season. A beautiful performance from you today, mate, to drive that car to your first podium of the season.
Oh man, it feels beautiful. I got sweat in my eyes. It feels good. It feels good.
Coming into this race, you had a total of 9 points to your name. Your best performance was Belgium, a P, I believe, 7 in the end. Not the sort of season, or say P6 in the end. Not the season you were looking to have, I would assume, coming into this one. But this sort of a performance, I felt like was always under the radar for you. You always had a chance to be at the front. Whatever happened during the race. But now you've got it. You've got an official good finish, a podium to your name. How does it feel?
It just, I mean, yeah, I had to pump those fists just like Lewis Hamilton. It feels just good just to be see myself standing up on the podium again. Oh gosh, it was hard earned, and I can't thank Bum enough for causing a little bit of chaos. I think he ended up taking his teammate out at the start of the restart on turn one, and then he was also, yeah. I mean, we just got bunched up behind Welshie, and just it was too hard to. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the stream, rewatch my stream. It was fun. It was a fun one for sure.
There was a lot of love in the chat for you. I could see it all throughout the race. There was so many people screaming for you to get a podium at the end there and to get the job done on Welshie. You did get it done. How hard was it? Because we know Welshie was driving like a man incensed after the chaos that caused with him and AngryShadow earlier on. having to fight against a man who would rather defend and fall on his sword than anything else.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to overtake in a situation like that?
I mean, yeah, the nerves were still going, and even though I knew I had the tire advantage because I believe he stayed out and he was on older mediums.
Yeah.
When I finally got past him, I was saving every ounce of my ERS for that back middle, that back straight, just to make sure I could burn. I had like 96% ERS on lap 28 to make sure they weren't going to pass me.
Well, you did a great job and you got the job done in the end. A P3 to your name and some great points for Mercedes as well. You closed the gap towards Sauber and Red Bull with that one. Do you think there's any chance in the final 2 rounds at Singapore and then later, I can't remember where, but I'm assuming you have it on hand. Do you think you've got a chance of being able to close the gap and bridge it to potentially challenge for P3 in the Constructors?
I would hope so. I think Electric Entree and myself just have had some bad luck. And if we can just keep our noses clean, keep our mistakes to a minimum. Like, I didn't spin it all today. You have those half spins, you catch it, you just burn that ERS to stay within that DRS range. And I mean, yeah, so we got Singapore and Netherlands. I've got a win at Singapore. I feel pretty confident there. And just because it's so tight, it's kind of like COTA in a way. I mean, guys are going to probably be hitting the walls or losing wings, I would imagine. And then, going to the Netherlands, Zandvoort, that's a tough track for me. So it's gonna be a challenge. I need to get on the sim a little bit more in practice, but I'm excited for these last 2 rounds for this finish. Hopefully, Mercedes, we can get up in this Constructors Championship and do something here for this final push.
I'm wishing you the best of luck as well. I hope to see you again on the podium at Singapore. But for now, I thank you for your great performance today and your great asset driving ability today, because you have caused a lot of fun for me in the booth to stream your name. But congratulations on the podium, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, much appreciated, and thank you, everyone. Bye.
And that brings us to 1. Specifically, number 1, the only expected number 1. 4 races this season have been his to win. 4 races this season, and I only seen 2 of them somehow. Hi, AngryShadow, congratulations. How did I miss both of the other wins, huh?
Yeah, you left, you didn't commentate, and I got 2 wins.
Another good win. 3 on the bounce now. Burst Spa, then Portimao, now at the beautiful COTA. We're going into the final 2 rounds of the season, and your lead at the top of the standings has grown enormously. Not the best performances from Villeneuve and Welshie today. Deathman was not quite there. The gap's opened up now, and there feels like there's a bit of daylight for you for the first time in, well, I feel like since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, well, we all know what happened in the middle of the season, but I feel very confident for the last 2. I already raced yesterday in Singapore in another league, so I feel confident, and yeah, just let's go get it.
Good points again for you for the Ferrari constructor. McLaren were closing in a little bit in the last 3 rounds. They've been able to just sort of eat away at that gap that you two had. But now, after that sort of a performance from you, you've opened it back up again. Do you think you'll be able to secure the constructors' standings before the final round, or do you think it will need both races to wrap it up?
I don't know how is the gap right now,
It was 13
but
coming in, so I'm not
yeah,
quite sure whether McLaren's finished, but
yeah. So I think we can get it next race if Jammers can fix his internet. uh, but yeah, I think we can get it next week. Basically because this week, well, Mage for what I heard died
Mhm.
with Deathman.
Mhm.
And I think he's not getting points, to be honest, after his break check. But yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. I do need to ask about that because it's one of those controversial things. I bring up on the stream that you two are like Verstappen and Hamilton in 21, in that you always seem to be on the track battling for that title win. Today, was the line crossed, do you think?
Yeah, because I mean, I paid before in the safety car, he didn't pay it. I just was driving normally. I didn't want to overtake all of a sudden because I didn't want to get another penalty points and stuff. So yeah, greatest span in front of me. Then I overtook Villeneuve. I overtook Deathman cleanly, and then when I get to Walshy, I didn't want to overtake in that straight because he was gonna get the DRS in the next race. So I didn't activate DRS. I was staying behind, and then I was behind him, and he just decided to break check. And yeah, I don't know why he did that. And it was I don't know how I didn't get wind damage, to be honest, because I was going 280 kilometers per hour. I don't know how I didn't get it. And yeah, but yeah, and I got 10 seconds in the safety car.
Mhm.
That was bullshit. That was like, what the fuck?
Language.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I had one slip up a stream and I've managed to keep it clean, so we're just getting away with it. But yeah, either way, it'll be interesting to see what the stewards make of that, because it seemed like a slam dunk break check to me. There was a lot of other chaos around the race, but you kept your nose clean throughout all of it. We were worried off the final restart. If you didn't get a good launch, might have been more chaos into turn one, but you got the second
Yeah.
immediately. You pulled away,
Yeah.
and you showed why you are the number one driver in Tier 5. So congratulations again on your 4th win this season. And I look forward to seeing if we'll see you again on the podium at Singapore.
Thank you, Dan. Have a good day, man.
You too. And that will wrap up our stream. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to have you here today for tier number 5. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you haven't already clicked over to the Tier 4 stream, we are live as it stands with qualifying right now. It is coming to an end. It's the final 3 minutes of quali. Make sure you are watching to see who will get pole in one of the most competitive tiers in MRL. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next week.